Thank you again so much for joining us today. I am Dr. Dana Cunningham, co-founder of Black Mental Wellness and Vice President of Community Outreach and Engagement. And I help to support our ambassadors who've done an awesome job of coordinating this event for you all today. So welcome to Heal the Healers, supporting caregivers. And We are super excited. If you could share with us in the chat where you are joining us from today. Yes, we will record the meeting today. And if you happen to miss the meeting from the first Healer session that was focused on mental health providers, that recording is on our YouTube page, and I will drop that link as well later on in case anybody wants to view that one. For anybody that has registered for CEs, you must have your camera on to receive CEs. So even if you're not receiving CEs, we would love to see your beautiful faces. If you want to turn your cameras on, that'd be awesome. But you must have your camera on if you want CEs. You should have gotten an email earlier today and yesterday with a form that you would need to complete and submit with the wellness word to get your CEs, and you do have to be present for the entire session. And the wellness word for today is care. All right. So I will also put that in the chat box, and I'll be keeping an eye on the chat box. If anybody has any issues or questions, feel free to send me a message. And I'm going to turn it over to our moderator today, Trayana Barnes. So, Trayana, there you go.
Thank you so much. So, as Dana said, my name is Trayana Barnes. I will be the moderator for this call. I'm so excited to be with you all. And I see there's so many people from everywhere in the chat. We got North Carolina, Atlanta, Colorado, so many amazing places. But I want to introduce myself. My name is Trayana Barnes. I'm a mental health therapist from Cincinnati, Ohio. And I am one of the caregivers for my grandfather. And I just want to ask that all of the panelists give your name, what's your job, and then answer what are some common signs of burnout for you as a caregiver. Just to go ahead and start with our first question. I'm also going to put the information to all of our panelists in the chat box. So go ahead and see our names, follow us on Instagram, and make sure you connect. But I'm going to go ahead and give the mic to Shanti, her to introduce herself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Shanti Boswell. I am a Master Certified Mental Health Coach, author, speaker, and mental health advocate. And I help people to move from surviving to healing by providing practical tools, coaching, and a safe space to do the work. And I am very excited to be here and looking forward to today's conversation. And the first question was, say that again. What was the first question?
What are common signs of burnout or compassion fatigue for you as a caregiver? Help from depression.
Not being able to sleep, being tired, because when you're caring for someone, especially someone who needs round-the-clock care, you can't sleep. So insomnia would be the number one for me. And then feeling bad because I want to go to sleep. I don't want to watch you. I want to go to sleep, but you can't. So it's a combination of a lot of things. But the two for me is the insomnia and feeling bad about being tired.
Okay. And then you can go ahead and pass it to someone.
Ooh, let's see, Mr. Kirk.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kirk James. I am a licensed professional counselor. Just received my license, actually. So a licensed professional counselor. And the one thing for me, when I think about personal, like burnout, I think about a temporary feeling of feeling less than or feeling unaccomplished. But I also have to remember that I'm only feeling that way because of the task that I'm currently doing. And so naturally, as caregivers, we're taking care of other people. So sometimes that comes with a lot of weight. And that weight, I also feel sometimes my body so can come up very somatically as well, too.
Yes. So, yeah, we're hearing a lot of kind of like the tiredness, the weight around being a caregiver. I love it. I love it. Kurt,
Yes,
pass it.
I am gonna pass it over to Dr. Matthews, sorry.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dr. Cartier Mathis. I am the founder and CEO of CMCG Leadership and Community Solutions. It's a consulting based organization that helps public health and healthcare organizations get structure, build community, and build leadership. And I would say the signs of burnout for me is brain fog. I cannot complete one task once I'm exhausted. And I will have to agree with Shanti with the lack of sleep. So it's a combination of like sleep deprivation, brain fog, not being able to process what I'm actually doing, and just feel real unorganized and all over the place. And I will pass it to Vanessa.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Vanessa Bethea Miller. I am a board certified behavior analyst, and I use behavior science and holistic wellness to really support caregivers, but also businesses and leadership. And my signs of burnout are kind of in line with everyone else, not sleeping. Um, I do feel it in my body. My body actually becomes inflamed. Really stressful. And then honestly, just not doing the things like my normal self-care routine or those normal things that help keep me in a safer space.
Yeah. And I'm starting to hear the themes across answers. And did we have one more? I think that was it. Okay.
I didn't go. Hi, everybody. Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, is that Dr. Lee? So that was for our panelists, but you can go
Oh,
ahead
I'm
and go.
sorry.
No, you're good.
I will put in later. Okay.
Yeah, put it in the chat for us. Put it in the chat. Yeah, so any of the questions that we asked today, we are asking to our panelists, and it'll kind of be a discussion that way. But for everyone else, you can definitely put your answers in the chat, and we have Miss Dana that is going to be, or Dr. Dana that's going to be going through and kind of mentioning those questions, and there'll be, a conversation that has two elements. Okay, but thank you. I appreciate just going for it. That's what we need. Okay, so as we were just talking about some of the signs and the symptoms of burnout and what it looks like as a caregiver, I also want to introduce that we're having candid conversation today, right? Like this Heal the Healer session is for caregivers, so we want to be honest. The next question is, caregivers often get asked, how is the person that you care for? How often have you been asked, how are you as a caregiver? And what would your honest answer be today? Anybody, any of our panelists want to take on that question?
I'll
Jump
take it.
in.
Oh, go ahead.
Honestly, not often. People definitely always ask about the work, the projects, the community, the people I'm serving. They rarely ask me about how am I personally carrying it all. I mean, I've heard a lot of different things like, well, you always look like you handling everything. You got everything under control. And I always use the analogy, I'm like a floating duck in a pond. You never see my feet and they going a million miles an hour, but on the surface I look calm and stable. So today I will honestly say I'm doing much better. I've learned how to care for myself and not feel selfish necessarily. I learned that no is a complete sentence. It doesn't always have to, have a long explanation after. But I'm also learning that and healing from, professional disappointments, personal disappointments, but also experiencing growth and peace and renewal in myself. Um, and I've learned that healing isn't the absence of hardship, it's about learning how to move through it without losing yourself. So just taking things one day at a time.
Yes. And I love some of the things that you said. I think the thing that stuck out to me is you said, learning to care for yourself and knowing that it's not selfish. You said something along those lines. And it brings me back to what Miss Shanti said about how she would feel exhausted and then feel guilty that she was exhausted. She's not the only one that I've heard that from. So we definitely want to echo that throughout the chat, and everybody that's here, definitely do not feel bad about taking care of yourself, because you are the thing that keeps the machine running, right? So we need you. And even beside from that, self-care is not selfish. So thank you. Is there any, Dr. Cartier, is there anybody else that wants to answer that question? Yes, Charles, no is a complete sentence. No? Nobody else? All right.
We got time. I'll answer.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I keep it short. We as caregivers are not asked often enough, how are we doing? Like Dr. Cartier said, they're always asking about the people who we're caring for, but us as caregivers, we're never asked. So, and I think it is because as helping professionals, people naturally see us as the strong ones. And so they assume that we're okay because we're the ones offering the support, but we need check-ins too. So, today if somebody asks me how I was, I say I'm doing well because I learned to prioritize my own mental health. And in the beginning, that wasn't true. People would, ask me, how are you? And I'm like, I'm fine, knowing I was lying. But now I learned that being honest about how I'm doing is not a sign of weakness, it's actually self-awareness. And we can't encourage vulnerability in others if we're unwilling to practice it ourselves. Because the strongest people still need somebody to ask, how are you really? So I can't wait for somebody to ask me how I'm doing. I'm tired, I'm burned out, I need to go to sleep, all of that. I will not say I'm fine if I'm not fine.
Yes, and I love the transparency and honesty. So I want to encourage that, today, and also Heal the Healer and being in this room is about gaining support. So take advantage of that chat. You see people comment, like their posts, engage with them. If you see, we got we just dropped the link, Dana. But yeah, if you see anything, engage with people. Don't leave this room without meeting 2 new people. Okay. But on the lines of support, so it's talking about, and the next question would be, how do you manage and maintain healthy boundaries while still caring for someone else? Okay. So we kind of talked about the things that come up when we're burnt out. How do you maintain those healthy boundaries so that you don't burn?
So I'm going to jump in here. I think, like Dr. Matthew said, it's no is a complete answer. And really prioritizing yourself. We prioritize, us just in general, we always prioritize everyone else around us, but taking that same energy with yourself. And I know some people probably don't like me because I'm really quick to say, no, I'm not doing it. I don't have the capacity. And really prioritizing what I want to do. And at the end of the day, we all are fighting our own battles. So the fact that we do feel guilty, I think that's just society's pressures on us. But we all are fighting our own battles. We all are going through our own things. So we all need moments alone. We all need those moments to set the boundaries and doing it for yourself. Like, who cares what everybody else is talking about? No is the answer. I don't want to do it. This is my boundary. This is where I'm at. And we don't have to self-sacrifice. We can just move forward.
I like that. Yeah. I like how you talked about we don't have to self-sacrifice. I think that comes with the caregiving field. You think that you have to sacrifice yourself in order to help others, and that's not the case. You have to take care and make sure that you're okay in order to help others. So I love that answer. Anybody else want to pitch in on that?
I'll jump in. I think just to piggyback off of what it actually looks like, for me, I've learned that even when I say no, and even when I take, some type of self-care time, figuring out what I actually enjoy and actually relieve my stress has actually elevated my mental capacity. So now every day it's a non-negotiable that I walk outside for at least 3 miles before I begin my day, because it sets the tone on how my day goes, because it allows me to relax, it allows me to center myself, and allows me to, breathe in the fresh air and take in all of the joys of the world. And it also gives me that real alone time with my thoughts. So finding your niche or what it is that actually relaxes you and making sure you carve out time for that is also important when you create those boundaries, because I know I hear a lot of times and a lot of my friends say, I was off yesterday and I slept, but I'm still exhausted. And I said, sleeping is not self care, because that's your human obligation. You're supposed to sleep. What else did you do for yourself? So learning those type of things to elevate yourself is also important while you're taking care of others. You're doing mommy, daddy, career things. All of that is a part of your daily list, but taking care of yourself should also be that top priority.
Yes, I love what you said that just called me out. I'm just gonna be honest. She said sleep is not self-care. Okay, that is a human need. That's a necessity. We should be sleeping. So, because I'm one to be like, oh, I'm tired, I'm gonna go take a nap. Like, no, that's what you should be doing. That's that's a part of how we function. So I like that. I like that comment. So I'm gonna go on to the next question. I just wanted to say I see y'all in the chat, Natasha, Sharandra. I see y'all. Yes, keep that up. So the next question is loaded. So panelists, we're gonna need our listening ears for this one. Okay. So describe how cultural expectations, systemic pressures, and workplace demands influence your mental health as a caregiver. Whew. Okay.
I'm gonna take it. I got
Come
it.
on.
In many Black families, we are taught to take care of everybody. Especially if you're an eldest daughter. I'm an eldest daughter. Or the aunt everybody calls, the caregiver, the fixer. Some even call, a person in the family who takes care of everybody, the family therapist, knowing they're not a therapist, but they treat them as such. And nobody teaches us what happens when the fixer breaks. Healing starts when we stop believing that taking care of ourselves is selfish. Because we were brought up to take care of everybody else. Worry about yourself last. Keep pushing, keep going. Because exhausted people cannot sustainably care for other exhausted people. They can't.
Yeah. I love that you spoke to the pressures that come from. They say you're talking to me in the chat. Come on. So I love that you spoke to how specifically in the Black community we have these leaders that we turn to, and we can never really take them out of that role. And so it does become, as we are the caregivers, it becomes our job to remove ourselves from that role, which can be hard sometimes, but it's necessary as we care for others and do the job that we do every day. I love your answer. Any other panelists? Anybody in the chat want to go ahead and answer? How does cultural expectations, systemic pressures, and workplace demands influence your mental health as a caregiver?
Yeah, I can jump in.
Yes.
I would say as a Black man working as a clinical therapist in healthcare, it can have its own challenges as well too. One, you're always supposed to be seen as a strong person and want that person to have it all together as the only man in the room. But sometimes we also have to say that emotions does not belong to a singular gender. And so males take on the same cultural expectations of strength, resiliency, of just cultural pressures as being identified as a female as well too. And so sometimes giving men more grace and not having them align with more cultural expectations can be hard sometimes. And then also with most men in healthcare, we are on the lower totem pole of that. And so typically it's only one or two Black males or males in the workplace environment, especially with me working in a psychiatric hospital. It's only two Black male clinicians in the ED. So when we get more aggressive patients, so we're seeing more people that need more additional care, they're leaning on the males to help more in that regard, but not really understanding the toll when you see 12 people within 3 hours, right? And so sometimes I have to remind them, don't use my strength, don't use my statue as an expectation for me to help. Ask how am I doing first before you ask for a favor, before you ask for assistance. Just like you experience stress or burnout, I experience it too. But sometimes people forget that. And so I think when we think about cultural expectations, we have to remind them that although this do exist, it's hard to expect something from someone based off of our perceived culture and our surroundings.
Yes. Kurt, I love that answer. You hit on so many things. Oh, I heard so many things. But so I see some questions floating around in this chat. We will leave some time for questions at the end. It'll be about 2 or 3. But to speak to what Kurt said, I am so happy that you brought up and shed light on how society views Black helpers specifically. We are always seen as the stronger one, and how you talked about men, they get that even more. And with there being lower numbers, there's just a lot of pressure on men, and then Black people as a whole. It's like, oh, they can handle it. They ain't gonna break. They ain't gonna, so it goes back to, I think this speaks more about advocacy for yourself, right? So we advocate for our clients and the people that we care for. We also have to be like, hey, I need a safe place to land as well. And y'all not about to give me 31 clients in 20 minutes. That's just not gonna work. Yes, I like that. I do want to speak a little bit to this question as a provider myself. I think the cultural expectations for me is what gets me a lot of the time, because it's like when anything racist happens, when anything happens in the world, they're like, oh, Triana will know what to do about it. Oh, we get a kid that's struggling with racism. Oh, just send them to Triana. Like, ain't nobody even trying to understand the situation or how to help. Just find a Black person, send them to them, would be okay. And it's like, I don't mind you sending them to me. But again, if I got a caseload of 65 people, I'm gonna need somebody to get some cultural competence around here and help with the load. So that's what it is for me. Vanessa, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I was gonna say in the same kind of alignment, especially when you work in predominantly white spaces. I remember, I don't now, I will say, and I'm thankful for that. But I used to get the hardest cases, the most difficult cases, the most difficult clients, and the most aggressive clients, because I work with children with severe problem behaviors, and it's the most difficult parents. And it's like, why do you keep giving me oh, well, you can handle it. And I know this person can't, so I'm going to give it to you. But, I deserve grace too. So I think that was probably the hardest part, early in my career, was like, you're battling almost like showing up and building that for yourself, right? And building your CV and your work ethic. But then you have people that are always, it's almost like it's heaviness, and then you got to go home and be a caretaker too. So it's like you don't even get you don't get a break. So I do think that is how the cultural and just, and then you got to deal with racism at work. You go to work, you might have to deal with racism. You deal with racist clients, you deal with racist parents, you deal with racist staff, and you're still got to manage everything and still got to show up every day. So it becomes a lot. I think that's where the heaviness comes in. And then you got to see it when you go home. You got to see it all the time. So really setting those boundaries, like the boundaries are needed.
Yes, the boundaries are needed.
And just to tie all of that together, like all of those experiences we experience in daily, but then in the workspace, it's expected for us to be able to handle it. And then if we try to advocate for ourselves, it's always a negative connotation assigned to it. Like, oh, she's aggressive, or she's angry, or she just can't handle pressure. And it's just like an over buildup of I'm representing for myself. I'm speaking for myself. I'm not aggressive. I'm not mad. But you also know that you're giving me the bulk load of things because you quote unquote think I can handle it. How is that fair? How am I supposed to advocate for myself efficiently? And then once I do, I get all of these other labels that is automatically associated with me because I'm a black woman. I'm supposed to be mad and I'm supposed to be ready to, go off, fly off the handles, and I'm supposed to not know how to manage people or manage stress um, in corporate America. So it's a delicate dance that we do every day with work, life, personal things, but it's never enough grace given for what we handle on a daily basis.
Dr. Cartier. The way she just, I'm like, was she in my that? I was just talking about that when I was journaling the other day. But no, it's so real. And this is why spaces like this are important. That's why I say don't leave this space without connecting with at least two people. Y'all see the flyer with all the panelists on it. Connect with people that are experiencing and facing these things that you are. So you can be like, girl, bro, this was crazy. I'm trying to advocate for myself, and they think that, and it helps you to get tips and how to still advocate for yourself without exploding. So yes, everything that you said. I saw a comment in the chat that leads right to our next question. Okay, it was Dr. Emmanuel. She said that part right there, and finding the balance. So our next question was, okay, what parts of your own identity have you had to fight to hold on to while caring for someone else? What part of your own identity have you had to fight to hold on to while caring for someone else?
I'll go ahead and answer. I would say really my spirituality, and I'm like a yogi, so I think that's probably the biggest piece that I have to fight to hold on to. Um, I'm a board certified behavior analyst, so it's a different field of psychology, and a lot of the things that help with my mental health are considered mentalistic, or they're not. Uh, it's kind of taboo in my field, I would say. So I know for me, just I've been learning how to apply, the science of behavior to what I do with yoga and holistically. And that even gets pushed back in those spaces. But then just not even that, like I'm a mom, I'm a BCBA, I'm always got to be the helper. So it's so many different things, different roles that are a part of my identity that kind of get in the way of that. So I would say, but really my spirituality and my creativity and being able to just be a free spirit, sometimes that comes in the way. Well, not, it doesn't come in the way, but people challenge that.
Yes. I would also have to agree that one of mine is my creativity. So for anybody that doesn't know, I'm a mental health children's book author. So a lot of what I love to do is write and be creative and come up with illustrations and things. However, I'm also a therapist, also an advocate, and an ambassador. So a lot of the times I really got to fight for my creative space. And that's my space where I feel like I'm just glowing because I'm so happy and it's so me, but I do have to fight for that a lot. Is there anybody else, any panelists that want to chime in?
I
I think.
will.
Go ahead.
All right. For me, it was me, Shanti, the woman, Shanti, because people will come to you and, when they're falling apart. I'm that person, or I'm that person who there for my clients. I'm the mama, I'm the auntie, I'm the investigator, I'm everybody. I'm the one to ask Shanti, she know how to do it. And it was about being just me. So when you're constantly pouring into other people, it's easy to start, measuring your worth by how needed you are. And I had to learn that my value isn't constantly rescuing people. I'm allowed to rest. I'm allowed to say no. I'm allowed to disappoint people, even if saying yes means abandoning myself. So I'm quick to say no. And that's it. No, no. That's one of the hardest lessons that I had to learn, because being needed isn't the same thing as being healthy. And most important to me is being healthy than being needed.
Yes. Ooh, best thing for me is being healthy, being needed.
I
Somebody
love
put it in the chat.
I love that. I love that mic drop right there. That was absolutely amazing. That resonated with me. And speaking to the whole person as well too, I believe like what comes hard for me is my authenticity, right? When I think about being authentically me inside of sessions, right? Sometimes we're working with individuals who are not well mentally, and sometimes that questions you being authentically yourself, bringing your whole self into a session or being a caregiver to someone. And while they're suffering severe mental health challenges or behavioral challenges, you're not able to sometimes meet them where they're at, and you have to take different avenues to support them in that time frame, right? Everybody comes in with their own unique challenges, and sometimes that causes you to have to be so rigid, or I will say textbook in a way sometimes, and you're not able to chop it up with them or be yourself and let your hair down with certain people, especially when you're working with different mixed populations. I'll be transparent. Sometimes how I would treat a black individual who's coming in for help compared to a white individual who's coming for help may be a little different. And because we have community in the room, we have identity belonging in the room, we have culture in the room, and sometimes we have that cultural identity in the room as well too. But I think sometimes going back to working with individuals who are not well, it will question you, it will challenge you to still do the work that you're called to do, but trying to be authentically you in the session sometimes can be hard just because of the populations we work with as well.
Yes. I love that point of kind of like the thing that we fight to hold on to is our authenticity. I was thinking that like the code switching, just like, having to do that all day, you can kind of get lost in that sometimes. And like, I love when I have a client that I don't have to code switch with. So yeah, this is, we got 2 more questions, and we're going to open up the floor for some questions from the audience. So we got, Dana, 1 or 2 questions from us. What you think? We could do 2. Okay. So if you could go back and give yourself one piece of advice at the beginning of your caregiver journey, what would it be?
Ooh, for me, I would tell myself, stop waiting until you're falling apart to take yourself seriously. Burnout doesn't happen overnight. It gives you little hints and whispers before it screams, "Hey, I'm burnt out." So, listen to your body, listen to yourself. And, your body usually knows you're overwhelmed before your mind is willing to admit it. So listen to your body.
I like that. I like that. I would say give yourself the same grace you give others, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to save everyone. I think that's the biggest thing. And you don't have to be perfect. I think we have like we put a lot of weight on ourselves, and we just as much as the world puts on us, we put it on ourselves as well. So really listen, I've done so many things that I probably didn't need to do. Work wise, I mean, it made me better, but I probably didn't need to do it. And that's all, because I felt like I had to. So I think that would be the biggest thing.
I would say you don't have to prove your worth by overextending yourself. Your value exists because of your productivity. And rest is not a reward.
Yeah.
Asking for help is not failure. Boundaries don't make you less compassionate. They ensure that you are still able to serve and be your authentic self.
Yes. I like
I
that.
was I would say, what are you worried about? What are you over worrying about? What are you challenging? What are you questioning? It's all gonna work out. As healers, we're not supposed to heal everyone. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna get done on that day. If you did everything you was able to do just in that one day at work, you did it. And don't take on more than what you can pour out. I think the misconception is sometimes we hear don't pour from empty cup. As a healer, they're receiving the overflow of that cup being overflown, right? And so we need to make sure that our cup is constantly being poured into so they can receive the overflow of what we're giving out as healers. So again, do as much as you can on a day-to-day basis and don't do too much that's going to compromise your peace. That's going to compromise you as a person because you still got to go to work the next day or you still have to go home to continue to be a helper. It doesn't stop just when you clock out at 8 o'clock, right? So, or 5 o'clock. It's going to continuously have a cycle. So make sure you're on a constant cycle that's going to support you, the person, and not the productivity you're producing out.
Yes. Yes. Y'all, listen, if y'all hear anything that they say that you like, oh, I need to run that back, just put it in the chat. Just put it in the chat so we can all see it. Okay, last question for our panel as well. Scheduled questions. What does healing look like for a caregiver? How do we move forward beyond simply surviving and begin truly caring for ourselves? So I'm gonna read it again. What does healing look like for a caregiver? How do we move beyond simply surviving and begin truly caring for ourselves?
Well, to answer what does healing look like, I would say that healing doesn't mean you'll never feel overwhelmed again. It just means that you recognize the signs sooner. And when you recognize the signs sooner, you're going to ask for help sooner. And you stop apologizing for protecting your peace. Healing means your identity becomes bigger than your ability to take care of everyone else. So the goal isn't to become someone who never gets tired because we're human. We're going to get tired. We're not robots. The goal is to become someone who no longer believes they have to earn rest.
Ooh.
Mhm.
The goal is to become someone that believes that they no longer have to earn rest. Come on now. All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, I would say that healing is a daily practice. So it's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's something that you do every day, and it is a choice. And I don't know, I might ruffle feathers. I think healing is a choice when you
Yeah.
choose yourself and you wake up every day and you choose to do things for yourself that bring you in that forward motion. And just like Shanti said, you're going to still get tired. You're going to still get overwhelmed. Healing shows up when you don't approach those situations the same. So that's what I would say.
Yes. Anybody else want to
I'll
add?
go.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. So the first part was what does healing look like for caregivers? It's everybody on this call. Everyone on this call went through some level of healing, personal, professional, romantically, individually. We all went through some form of healing, and we're completely healed. That's a different story, right? That we don't have time for today. But the one part I want to say is the part of healing is a continuous journey, right? That weight of being able to freely say, I'm healed doesn't go away. It just gets more bearable, more manageable to hold, right? And so when something that has caused you to be interrupted and caused you to have some type of disconnect, when you're reminded of those past experiences, you're able to check in with yourself and say, hold on, I worked on this. What is the things I need to do to make sure I'm not compromising my peace, compromising myself, right? Bring me back to a place of being unhealed. So it's checking in with yourself and I always say, like, do a body scan, right? How am I feeling in this moment? What's bringing me back to an uneasy place, right? And as healers, leaning onto your support system as well too. We can't be Superman or Superwoman 24 hours of the day, and sometimes we have to lean on other people to help us. because we can't do this work alone. In any profession that we're in, we're gonna need someone who we can lean on to. Healers have healers too, and I always say, if you're a therapist, a BCBA, if you're any type of work, you need to have a therapist. You need to go to someone who you can completely be yourself and share what you've been holding in. So I think that's truly important to have.
Yes. He snuck right on what I was gonna say, so I'm gonna go ahead and let Mr. Dr. Cartier go.
I feel like they definitely summed up everything that I would say. I just would add that healing also means trusting the process and the purpose. I feel like in life, the experiences that we have are always placed in front of us for a reason, whether that is to help somebody else progress through a situation or whether it's to heal a part of us that was broken, cracked, dismantled, whatever that is, and to move forward. So just trust in the process and learning from those experiences so that you can move forward and continue to replenish your own cup and overflow for others and be a resource for others as well. So that's what I would say.
Yes, and I see somebody put in the chat same time as me. Healing is trusting the process and the purpose. For somebody that struggles with anxiety, I'm like, she is right. Cause listen, that would definitely feel like healing if I was like, you know what, I trust the process. I'm not gonna keep stressing myself out. I'm gonna go and get a massage. Everything gonna work out. Like that definitely does look like healing. Healing is not linear. Yes. I do want to say with Kurt, so healing looks like if you need a therapist, please go get one. We got therapists in this call, not to say that you can go to them, but they could probably help you. Healing looks like leaning into your community. So this call again, connect with these people, inbox somebody, follow people on Instagram. Okay. So now we are going to open the floor, take about 2 to 3 questions from the people in the chat. I do want to also just go back to someone talked about how they were excited to see Kurt because we need more Black male representation. And I agree. I'm grateful that Kurt is here. I'm grateful for all of our panelists, but we do our page is for men and women. So we have spaces for Black men as well. We follow people that pour into Black men. So make sure you follow our page. But we're gonna open the floor. Dr. Dana, I don't know how you want to do it.
Yeah, there was one question earlier, Triana. Someone put in the chat about the question was how to handle a spouse or partner who is angry about the time caregiving takes away from their relationship. And if anybody else has other questions, please go ahead and drop those in the chat.
Can you repeat the question?
It was how to handle a spouse or partner who is angry about the time that caregiving takes away from the relationship.
Oh.
I would jump in and just say it's a delicate balance. Communication is going to be the top priority in that relationship. But communication also can't become an excuse. It can't be like, well, I told you I was going to. No, you have to actually listen to the needs of your partner, acknowledge them, and actually do work to process the engagement. So it's definitely a balance. We all have our priorities, our caregiving aspects, our mom, our partners, partnerships, but understand that your partner needs you just as much as you need them. So making sure you put in that constant effort to allow them to understand you are a priority to me as well. I think for me, most of the time when I feel like I'm a little out of the loop, it's like, oh, I'm not getting enough attention somewhere. So expressing that and actually having a partner that listen and we process those things together and make a constructive plan has helped. So I would just say communication is key.
Yeah, communication as well.
Yes, I love that. And I was going to say, just to piggyback off what she said, when I've gone and worked through this with families, as I said, I'm a therapist. It's usually most helpful. You kind of got to get creative especially when there's a lot of time going to the person that you're caring for. Setting aside a certain day a month to be with your partner and that's it can be really helpful, because it does, even without you saying it. I mean, you should say it, but even without you saying you're a priority, blocking off time in your schedule, even just once a month, communicates that. And it gives you guys time to reconnect as a unit. And then you have kind of the rest of your time to care for this person. But even like in between, I wouldn't want you to give them one day. Just check in once a week, and then schedule that one day for you and your partner, or that 4 hours once a month, whatever. But you do kind of got to get creative. Yes, being intentional and making sure that you're communicating and talking with your partner and seeing what they need as well. Anybody else want to chime in? Do we have any other questions for our panelists?
I don't see any yet. Please place them in the chat if y'all have any additional questions. And while you all are thinking of questions, I'm going to make a brief announcement. So Black Mental Wellness, we have an annual conference in Silver Spring, Maryland. It'll be on November 6th this year. So there'll be many more opportunities leading up to that conference for engagement and community. If you are not already signed up for our Black Mental Wellness newsletter, that's where you will not miss a thing if you sign up for our newsletter. We send out all the information in our newsletter. So if you have not yet signed up, just go to our website. I'll put it in the chat box in a moment. And then you scroll all the way down to the bottom, and there's a link there where you can put your email address to subscribe. And currently, we're also having a fundraiser for our conference. If we're selling bundles of movie tickets from Regal Theaters. You can buy 2 tickets for $30, and 25% of that comes back to Black Mental Wellness to help support the conference that's upcoming. And the tickets do not expire, so you can use them anytime. Just need to purchase by the end of July. So, and I'm also going to post in the chat box. Oh, here's a question. I'm also going to post in the chat box the resource guide that our team helped to develop. So, Trayana, we see the question, how do you combat being guilty for trying to live a little while being a caregiver?
I can answer that.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead. Okay. I think guilt is one of the biggest burdens that caregivers carry. We start believing that if we're laughing, going on vacation and having dinner, or simply taking a break, somehow we're failing the person that we're caring for. Honestly, though, your life doesn't have to end because someone else's has changed. You know what I'm saying? I've learned that, joy and caregiving can exist at the same time. Taking care of yourself doesn't mean you care less. It means that you are protecting your ability to keep showing up over time. I also, remind caregivers that guilt isn't always a sign that you're doing something wrong. Sometimes it's a sign that you're challenging the belief that you have to sacrifice yourself to prove your love. And you don't have to earn the right to rest, laugh, or enjoy your life. Those things are a part of staying emotionally healthy. And I'm pretty sure that your loved one will probably want you to keep living and not just existing. So don't let guilt convince you that suffering is the price of loving someone, because it is not.
I just want to add on and say, guilt is a temporary feeling. So
Mhm.
that guilt will go away, right? But if you allow it to eat yourself up, it's going to cause you to get into a mind space of spiraling on that guilt and say, what do you need to be doing more? Which leads down to more burnout, right? And personal burden. I always say, did you need to go out? Did you need to go to the movies, get your tickets? Did you need to go to dinner? Did you need to go to your spouse, or did you need to go to that session, right? If you needed those things to be a better caregiver or to be able to do the work as a caregiver, don't think about as being guilty. Think about, I needed this to reset myself to do the work that I've been called to do, or being able to take care of that individual. So it is needed. Just like Dr. Cartier said, like, rest is not self-care, it is a birthright, right? We deserve to rest. We deserve to pour into ourselves as much as we pour into other people. Because you cannot produce that level of quality that you're producing if you're not taking care of yourself first. And somebody said they're the human. So remember that you are human too. And so you need to care for yourself.
Yes, there's so many good things that were said. And she said, woof, y'all answered, Dr. Shanti answered the question. So yes, y'all questions about guilt. And that's kind of a theme I've been seeing throughout the call is guilt because we're taking care of ourselves, guilt because we want to go out and have fun, guilt because we want to enjoy, the pleasures of life. And we're allowed to do that. We are allowed to do that. And most of the time, we're better for it. If I go out and I go and laugh with my friends, I promise you, I'm much better the next morning when I come into work. So, just remember that. Rest is a birthright. Yeah, he snapped. He said that. What is a good way? This is our last question. What is a good way to process? What is a good way process to evaluate rather it might be time to get a different situation for the person you are caring for? Do I need to read it again?
I think I got it. I would say when you start becoming frustrated and angry, that's probably a sign that you are burnt out and you might need someone to help or step in. Um, I think sometimes it's a lot of weight caring for people. So when you start getting a little snappy and it's not warranted, it's time to evaluate how you can get someone to care. And there are so many resources. Like you just got to look in your states, especially if you're caring for like a loved one or like an elderly loved one. A lot of states offer, paid home health care agents. It may not be a lot, but there's all types of resources. So really looking into those things to help support. And I know it's hard to trust people, but the minute you feel like, you start getting, angry, or if you're losing money, you're not able to take care of yourself in the process. I think those are the signs that you need to kind of maybe reevaluate the situation.
Yes, and I wanted to speak from someone. I call myself the secondary caregiver for my grandfather who has dementia. So I'll just tell you some of the signs that I've seen that it's time for me to step in. So most of the time, because she's similar to a lot of caregivers, my aunt, she will not ask me to step in. She would just try to keep going because it's her dad. So I realize the signs when she starts to get more snappy with him. She's short. When there's a prominent need that she's missing, not because she's like trying to miss it, but she's so tired that like there's a need that's constantly being missed. But signs that she can see in herself is like aggravation. She's not sleeping. She just does not want to go home. So she doesn't want to be around them. Those are the things that she sees. I see it too. And I usually step in when I'm like, all right, you're done. Go to my house. We literally flip houses. She goes to my house and I go to hers because he can't move. So we move. But those are a lot of the signs that I see. And did you put the resource guide in the?
Yep, I put it in the chat. That's in the chat as well as the evaluation, and I can repost the resource guide as well.
Yeah, so get a hold of the resource guide. And to wrap it up, for our panelists that have given us so much good information today, I want to ask you guys a surprise question. What are you guys doing this week? And people in the call, you can put it in the chat. What are you going to do this week to take care of yourself? What is something special you're going to do for yourself?
I'm gonna jump in because I'm excited. I'm going on a cruise to Bahamas tomorrow, and I am not working for once. I'm not working. I told them don't call me, don't text me. I'm not helping. I'm out of here.
That's on boundaries.
That's my boundaries. Don't text me. Call somebody else.
That's right.
I'm excited for you. I'm not going to the Bahamas, but I'm going to Chicago for a shopping trip. So I'm
Well,
excited too.
That's nice too. Yes.
Come on, shopping trip. Sorry. I am pre-gaming right now. I came to Atlanta to pre-game before I would go to Cancun. So just to relax, get myself
Oh,
together before packing to go to Cancun. So yes, so definitely so.
Okay.
Yes.
look at us with our trips planned.
Come on. I didn't know we was all traveling. They ain't told me nothing. Miss Shanti, did you share yours?
No, actually, I just came back from a trip. I went to Cancun and to an adult only resort. Oh my God, it was so great.
Mhm.
And so I'm well rested.
Okay.
It was great.
Nice.
Thank you for warming it up for me. Thank you.
Yes. And we got people, somebody in the chat said, get somebody else to do it. Yes.
Absolutely. Get
Exactly.
somebody else to do it.
But I'm seeing people starting their gardens. Oh, Miss Hayes, she said nothing planned. I'm just off.
Well, make sure your off is off.
That's gonna be me tomorrow. I took a day off. I'm
Make
just
sure
off.
your off is off, Trayon.
Make sure my off is off.
D and D is my
Yeah,
best friend. When I'm off, D and D is on.
yeah. All right. In the yard, having spa days. So yes, I'm excited that everybody has their one thing all spending time with my boys. I know that's right. And all of the beautiful things. Make sure that you follow us, get the resource guide, and I'm so excited to see what you guys do throughout this week to take care of yourselves. Is there any way that we want to wrap this up, Miss Dana? Dr. Dana?
Thank you all for being here today. And please do take care of yourselves today. The website for Black Mental Wellness is blackmentalwellness.com. I see some folks saying that they are unable to see the resource guide, so I'll send it in the follow-up email after today as an attachment. And thank you all for being here. We look forward to remaining in community with you. So remember to sign up for the newsletter. If you are obtaining CEs, please do complete the CE confirmation with the wellness word, as well as everybody, please share your feedback on the evaluation so we know more of what you would like to hear and see from Black Mental Wellness. So thank you all today for joining us today, and do something today, this weekend, to take care of yourselves. Thank you.
Bye.
Yes, bye.